All right, hello from Indy. Thought I would do a update on the car. As of yesterday, the exhaust is done. So mechanically, everything's done on the car. Mechanicals are all done. So it's time to move on to some other things. So I thought I would do an update and give a summary of what's been done to the car. That way it's all in one video, and then I'll give you my thoughts on the setup and what I would change, if anything. And so we'll just start in the back. Again, this has it's an 8 3/4 rear end with a Yukon clutch type shore grip and a 355 gear. Transmission I rebuilt myself, and it's just rebuilt the stock specs for like a 71 GTX. The fuel line is 3/8 fuel line and the matching sending unit. When the fuel comes up to, it's just got a factory fuel pump on it for a 71 GTX. And then so from the fuel pump up to the carburetor is the 5/16 line, and that's fine. I could upgrade it to 3/8 if I needed to, because I've done that, brought it up from the tank. It's a still line from inline tube. The engine was out of a 76 motorhome. I've put a 474 Mopar cam on it. You can see I've just got the factory exhaust manifolds, the Nettelbrock Performer RPM intake. I have a Holley 850 vacuum secondary carburetor. The primary jets are 78s. The secondary jets are 82. The pump discharge nozzle's a 40 thousandths. The primary power valve's a 45, and the secondary is a 35. And then my secondary diaphragm spring, or your vacuum spring, I've just used a pink spring in there. And that is good. This 850, a lot of people might think that's too much carb for this engine. It loves it. It is very sensitive to any changes you make to the carburetor. The engine responds good or bad immediately. So the 850 is definitely the carb for this. The distributor is a electronic distributor, Mopar. Let's see, it's 18 initial, 34 total. It's all in at, I believe it's all in at 1800. For springs, I just have one light factory spring in there, and that's all I have in there. So it comes in really quick, and that's perfect for this setup. So the setup, I'm really happy with it. It works great. Great kick down. It's a cruiser car. This wasn't built to be a racer. It's probably very similar because of the 474 cam. It's probably very similar to probably a 71 factory GTX. It's fun to drive. You get on it. It's fun. Can do a great burnout. Do a burnout like it's nothing. But with the torque converter, I just used the factory torque converter out of like a 72 Imperial. So there's hardly any torque. It's like, I don't know, 1800 to 2000. And I was worried about that, and with this combination, with the RV motor, the cam, everything, it works out great. It has great manners. You can putz it around in a parking lot. You know, you can just very gentle on the throttle. It'll move gently, but you hammer it and it's smoke time. So it's really a great setup, kind of by accident. So I'm very happy with that. The only thing I would change is the 355 gears in there were put in 2 years ago, I guess, because you remember this last year, this still had a 318 in it, and did the 440 swap over the winter. And the 355s really woke the 318 up and gave it a little bit of pep. It just couldn't hardly get out of its own way with the 318. So that was great for a 318. With this, for what I do with it, and just kind of a cruiser around town, 323 maybe a 296 or something like that would be much better. It has the torque and the power to make up for the gear. So anyway, that's that. I think I hit on everything I need to hit on there. Oh, for the exhaust, it's a 2.5 dual exhaust that dumps out right in front of the rear axle. So like I said, mechanically, everything on the car is done. The entire suspension is 100% new, except like the K-member. I used the old K-member. The wiring is all new. The brake system is literally 100% brand new. So everything mechanical, electrical has been replaced. So now that all that's done, now it's time to move on to the interior. So I'm going to do a headliner in it. I'm going to try to do that myself. That's why I don't have glass in it yet. I'm getting kind of tired of driving around. You know, 60 mile an hour, no windshield. It gets kind of hairy in there. So anyway, I'm going to do the headliner, get that ordered. Try to do that myself. I'll let you know how that goes. Do the carpet. I'm not going to worry about the seats this year, but I will do the interior. That's next on the list, is to get the interior freshened up. Once I get the headliner in, then I'm going to put the glass in. And someone's asked me to do a video on how to install the glass, so I'll do a video for that. Installing glass is really pretty simple. There's nothing hard about it. The factory service manual tells you everything you need to do on how to do that. But I'll show you. I'll show you how to do it. Teach my sons how to do that. It'd be a piece of cake. And then, you know, after that, get the glass in. Everything's buttoned up, the interior. Then I'll probably enjoy it just for a year. Just drive the car, have some fun in it. Start saving my pennies. Because then it's going to be kind of time to decide, you know, whether I want to paint it or not. And I'm not going to do a real expensive paint job. I just, you know, a driver quality paint job. And we'll decide on that. I have to make up my mind on that. But I just want to enjoy the car. You know, it's the temptation is, you know, I am going to start building this engine before too much longer. So I'll build this engine and another transmission for this car. So I'll have bullet 1 and bullet 2. This will be the cruiser version, and then this will not be the cruiser version. So this will be probably a stroker motor, and everything that goes along with that. But for now, I'm just enjoying this. So then you have to resist the temptation of making a drag car, which I don't want to do. And then the final dilemma I'm in is I have a Roadrunner that I've been trying to buy for 40 years. Been trying to buy it, and I by accident ran into the guy recently, and he wants me to buy the car. I've been trying to buy it for so long, and he knows I would take care of it and restore it, and so that's a tough decision, because I really don't have room for two. So I'd have to sell this and start over. But the Roadrunners, man, it's a sweet car. It needs a lot of work. It's a very low mile car, but it's been sitting for 40 years. That's why I've been trying to buy it for 40 years. So anyhow, just kind of rambling now, but we'll see. So anyway, I just want to give an update on the car and let you know what the basic setup is for somebody if they're wanting to do it themselves. Kind of give you a guideline for what I did, the jetting and the tune and everything on it. And if you have any questions, let me know. All right, later.